international conferences we have had, especially when he became rector, has outnumbered whatever seminar we have had in the Polytechnic from his section. So he's somebody that will be willingly be available. But unfortunately, he's already scheduled for another program. He's already on the way with the Olofa on another official assignment. It's unfortunate that earlier on before this program came up, and he has given his word to be present there. Then let me also add that Saturday is not really a convenient time for our staff. I'm sorry I have to say this. Why? Already we have been lockdown, only very few staff, maybe about 10 or 15% of us come to work every day. But some of the staff are either not available, either out of town, and whatever. Saturday is always a very busy time. So maybe when we have other program, we'll be able to schedule it for during the week to allow every staff to participate. All the same, I want to welcome every one of us for this seminar. It's the first ever. I know Ayo very well, apart from Ayo being a very close brother, and also I think I like those very good old days in 95, 96, 95, 96, besides the alumni that are here gathered. I want to appreciate you. I also know Ayo. Ayo is the fellow of the Charter Institute of Personnel Management. We have a member too. He has been on the board of some of the committee. I was a member of the education for the council for about 2-3 years before I took my leave to allow other people. He was a member of some other community too. So I want to appreciate every one of us. I want to welcome you to this program. But permit me to say that Federal Polytechnic still remains the fastest and the best polytechnic in Nigeria. By the last ranking, Federal Polytechnic is in the 8th position. We moved from 42 position to the 8th position. Presently now, we are the best accredited institution. That was declared by Nigeria University Commission. You can check that out at the University website. We have an affiliation that's been a very good affiliation, and we have excelled in that area. All our programs are accredited. The Polytechnic was also adjudged to be the best polytechnic in staff welfare. So I want to welcome you. If I go on, we are going to be here till dusk. I want to appreciate every one of you that here gather, and on behalf of the director,
Network Nigeria today, money.
I wish you happy.
Okay, thank you very much, the rector, sir. We are glad that at last the rector could at least send us a representative. We are glad to have you in our midst. Thank you, sir, the director, public relations and protocol. Thank you for joining us. Very quickly, we are moving on now. I want to call on Dr. Asakpa. Dr. Sunday Asakpa is one of us faculty members. He is going to be the one to introduce the facilitators, and subsequently we will welcome the first speaker, Dr. Salman. Dr. Asakpa, sir, over to you. Host, please help us unmute Dr. Asakpa. He is the one to introduce the facilitators. Is Dr. Asakpa online? I have seen him online earlier.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Dr. Asakpa, you're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, everyone
Okay,
can hear you.
All right. Director, sir, ably represented by the director, DPR unit, principal officers here present, deans and directors, heads of departments, heads of units, leaders of ASUP, SANIP, and NASU, senior colleagues, Dean of Faculty, Mr. Tunde Arini, Faculty Secretary, Mrs. Aduke Olatunji, other members of faculty, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. You are all welcome to the 5th webinar training powered by Fedpoffa Alumni Training Faculty, titled Effective Communication as a Tool for Building Trust Among Stakeholders in Tertiary Institutions. This training is very essential, knowing fully well the impact of communication in all facets of life. To do justice to this training are notable alumni of the Polytechnic, Dr. Maruf Gbadebo Salman and Mr. Ayoade Morgan Adeyemi. Allow me to give a brief of each of these gentlemen. The principal speaker, Dr. Maruf Gbadebo Salman. He graduated from Business Administration Department in 1999. Since leaving the Polytechnic, he has worked in various banks across Nigeria. These banks include Trade Bank, First Bank, Intercontinental Bank, Access Bank, etc. He obtained his PGD education from Usman Dan Fodio University, Sokoto. He has 2 masters to his credit, Master of Business Administration from Ambrose Ali University, Ekoma, Master of Managerial Psychology from University of Ibadan. His quest for further studies took him to Malaysia, where he obtained his PhD in marketing from University Utara Malaysia in 2016. His professional qualifications. Dr. Salman is a chartered member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, full member of the Institute of Chartered Economists of Nigeria. He's also a full member of the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. Dr. Salman has presented papers at various conferences, both locally and internationally. He is a public speaker, a business consultant. He has equally published in scholarly recognized journals at local and international levels. At present, Dr. Maruf Gbadebo Salman is a senior lecturer at University Utara Malaysia. He is a principal speaker today. To be supporting our principal speaker is our own astute administrative consultant and exceptional human resource manager, a project manager par excellence. He is the national president of the Fedpoffa alumni, Mr. Yoade Morgan Adeyemi. Mr. Adeyemi graduated from marketing department in 2002. He has worked in various sectors and different corporations at different levels. He has sound knowledge in business strategy, human capital development, entrepreneurship, marketing management, etc. He is an author, researcher, a publisher with a Master of Business Administration to his credit. He consults for so many organizations. He is a resource person at Faith Foundation, Philip Consulting Firm, Philip GF Plus Consulting Firm, Tony Elumelu Entrepreneur Foundation, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria. Mr. Adeyemi is a fellow of many notable professional bodies. He is a fellow, National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, a fellow of Professional Foundation of Nigeria. He's also a fellow of the Institute of Information and Strategic Management. He is a full member of the Institute of Packaging, a registered member of Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, an associate of the Nigerian Institute of Management. Mr. Adeyemi is an alumnus of the prestigious Daystar Leadership Academy. He is a public speaker, a motivational speaker. Mr. Yoade Adeyemi is the Chief Executive Officer, Lorach Consulting Firm. Without doubt, we have the right persons to speak to us on this platform for the next few minutes. I therefore want to encourage all of us to stay connected, even as I invite to the platform our able Dr. Gbadebo Salman to make the first presentation. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening from here, Malaysia. Please, can you enable my share screening? Please, can you enable my, please enable me to share my screen. And while we're doing that, I want to use this opportunity to thank everyone for creating this opportunity to interact today. My special thanks go to Dr. Lateef Ademola Olatunji, the rector of the Polytechnic, represented by his representative. And of course, I also appreciate every other person present. I can see here, Dr. Mohammed is here, Dr. Ebeloku is here, and every other person present. All other protocols duly observed. So I want to thank the secretariat, the secretariat for organizing this wonderful lecture. The lecture is not going to be a lecture properly, as such. It's going to be a kind of interaction. It's going to be a kind of sharing, because the topic we are discussing today is a topic that we are all familiar with: communication. How can we use that to build trust among the stakeholders? So please, can you just enable me to share my screen? Okay, thank you. It's okay. Yeah. Just like it has been said, the topic of today is effective communication as a tool to build trust among stakeholders in tertiary institutions. This is an important topic. Using effective communication to build trust. We live our life on trust. Trust is the solid rock upon which the entire life is built. And without trust, there will be crisis. But this trust cannot be earned. We cannot build trust except we're able to communicate. And we are not just talking about communication. Communication is about communicating effectively, because there is a wide difference between communication and effective communication. But when we look at this particular topic, realize that we have important keywords. Three keywords there: effective communication, trust, and stakeholders. But before we move on, these are the learning outcomes that we intend to achieve today. By the end of this interaction, we understand some of the techniques that we can use to communicate effectively. And of course, we are going to enhance our understanding about what interpersonal communications are all about. Interpersonal communication skills are all about. We're equally going to discuss or interact on skills necessary to improve our emotional intelligence. And of course, we'll be interacting on how lecturers and students will relate, how management and staff will relate, and of course, at the end of the day, we'll be able to use that to build trust and synergy among the stakeholders. You see, going by quotes, just to use this as a kind of an appetizer. This guy, Paulo, once said, only through communication can human life hold meaning. I think that strikes a kind of things in us. Only through communication can human life hold meaning. What does that imply? It implies that without communication, our life will not be meaningful. Without communication between wife and husband, between father and children, between bosses and subordinates, between administrators and those that are being administered, then life cannot hold true meaning. And when life cannot hold true meaning, then that means there is fire on the mountain. And likewise, Nat equally said, good communication is the bridge between clarity and confusion. Clarity and confusion. Can you see? You see, it's not just true communication, it's not just communication, but good communication. It's not just enough for us to communicate. The kind of communication we are doing should be an effective, good communication. Otherwise, there will be a lot of confusion. We will not be clear about what is happening. Then there will be a lot of crisis. So good communication is the bridge between clarity and confusion. And when there's no clarity, there will be confusion. And when there's confusion, there will be crisis. And when there is crisis, then another thing will happen. So, you see, like I just said now, using effective communication to build trust among stakeholders. Stakeholders, this is, the word stakeholders, a stakeholder is very, very important. Because one thing is this, as higher institution of learning, we are not operating in a vacuum. We are not operating in isolation. We are interacting with a lot of people. We have our stock in trade. We have the students, the community that we are dealing with, the society at large, the government, and etc. like that. So, like we are going to see in the next slide, who are these stakeholders? Are they really important? Do we need to communicate with them? What is their expectation, or what are their expectations? Are we going to meet their expectations without us communicating with them effectively, without communicating with them enough? without anticipating their needs. You see, when Dr. Sunday was talking now, he said there are a lot of crises between students and lecturers, between the parents and the university or the polytechnic, because one thing is this: the parents have actually entrusted their children to the hands of the institution, believing that the institution will treat them accordingly. We mold them to become something in the society. However, we realize that that expectation is lacking behind, it's not being achieved. Likewise, students themselves. Then let me just move to the next slide because of time. Talking about stakeholders. Who are these stakeholders? According to Masha 2019 and Freeman 1984, stakeholders in higher institutions are divided into two parts. We have internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. Why do we have to bother ourselves about this? Why do we have to bother ourselves about this segregation? Why do we have to divide the stakeholders into two? We need to divide them into two so that we'll be able to know the expectation of each group. For instance, internal stakeholders. Who are they? Who are involved? What constitutes the stakeholders, the internal stakeholders? We have the members of academic community, such as who? The faculty and non-faculty members, the lecturers, the admin staff, and etc. We have the managers. Then we have the students themselves. Students represented by the student union and other bodies. And we have the institutions itself. The institution itself, in form of the leadership, the governance, the senate, and etc. All of these people, they have their own expectations. And they're expecting that the institution, the higher institution, will play their own key roles, will play their own key responsibility. They'll be able to communicate with them effectively so that the expectation will be met. Likewise, we have the external stakeholders. Who are the external stakeholders? We have individuals from groups, such as the employers. We have members of the society or community, the parents, the government, the donors. All of these people, they are very important because they have their key roles they are playing towards the sustenance of the higher institution. Likewise, the relationship has to be reciprocal in nature. You interact with the stakeholders, and the stakeholders interact with the institution, because the institution itself is a legal being on its own that has every right, that can perform so many duties, that can own properties, and etc. So in this regard, the institution has responsibility to interact, to communicate with the stakeholders, because the stakeholders have their own expectations. So, talking about the stakeholders and the expectations, what they're expecting from the tertiary institutions, we now say we have institutions' responsibilities, because we are interacting as institution, as higher institution, we are interacting with the stakeholders. Therefore, we have some responsibilities, like I said initially. And the responsibility we have, for instance, we used to have the traditional responsibilities. Traditional responsibilities such as teaching, researching. Naturally, that is the reason, or that was the reason why every higher institution was created. However, today, the 21st century responsibilities, the responsibility has actually, changed drastically. Even though we are still teaching, even though we are still researching. However, the forces in the society today, the global forces, the local forces, and you can see, according to PIRO 2015, has actually forced the institution to change their focus, because the society is actually expecting the institution to perform modern responsibility, the 21st century responsibility. And what are these responsibilities? Today, Our institutions have become, the hubs of knowledge. They are participating in economic development. They are regarded as society and family transformer. They are regarded as innovators. They are fundraisers. They equally donate to the society, because today higher institutions are performing social responsibilities. They are providers of labor for the industry. They are peacekeepers. Of course, they are political, social, and cultural transformation, transformer. All of these are the responsibilities of the tertiary institution, such as the polytechnic, the university, college of education, and what have you. So, this responsibility we are talking about actually demands us to communicate with the stakeholders. And this communication will either lead to trust or otherwise. When we communicate effectively, when we communicate properly, when we communicate, enough, at the end of the day, we'll be able to build trust. We'll be able to earn trust from the stakeholders. We'll be able to perform our responsibility to the society. And of course, the society will be at peace. We'll be able to achieve all those roles we are expected to play in terms of economic development, in terms of society transformation, and etc. Now, talking about this, what is communication? What is communication? Of course, this is just rhetoric. I don't need to ask you what is communication, because I believe that we have a lot of experts in communication in the audience. And communication is a familiar topic. We have discussed that several years ago. When I was in the institution, when I was in the Polytechnic about more than 25 years ago, when I was doing my ND, I've learned a lot of this from, Dr. Olarongbe, from Dr. Mohamed during management classes, from Dr. Ebeloku, from, Dr. Mrs. Ola Oshebikan, and etc. All these people, they are communication experts. They've taught us, and I believe that each and every one of us also went through this, training or lectures that time. So we know what is communication is. But the question is this: are we actually communicating enough? That is the question. Are we really communicating enough? Talking about communication. At home, are we communicating enough? At work, are we communicating enough? What is the relationship between you and your wife? What is the relationship between you and your children? What is the relationship between you and your students? Are you communicating enough with them? Like I was introduced, I've had the opportunity, it was just an opportunity. I've had the opportunity to work in several banks in Nigeria before I moved abroad. And of course, one of the major issues we are having with our bosses, or we as boss as well, is we were not communicating enough with the customers. We're not communicating enough with the subordinate. We are not communicating enough with etc. And communicating enough means what? What does that really imply? It's okay if we are saying we are communicating enough. We are saying we are passing across the message. Are we actually doing that effectively? Are we doing that effectively? Because there is a difference, like I said initially, there's a difference between communication and effective communication. We communicate, we communicate not because we want to hear the other person, but because we want the other person to listen to us. We want the other person to listen to us. And if that is what we have at the back of our mind for communicating, we realize that what is going to happen at the end of the day is that we are not going to say what we want to say effectively, and we are not going to achieve the result we're supposed to achieve. Because talking about communication, effective communication, it has to do with a kind of communication that you're able to achieve the desired results. And the result we are talking about should not be for the benefit of the communicator alone, but for the receiver. The receiver, in this sense, could be the student, could be other stakeholders. And that is why, because we are not communicating effectively, that's why we've been having a lot of crises around the globe today. That's why we're having a lot of crises around the world today. Different crises around the world, across Asia, in Nigeria, in America, in China, so many, in Afghanistan. They are all product of ineffective communication. It goes beyond the higher institution alone. Crisis is engulfing the whole world today because we are not communicating. We are not even communicating enough with the God that created us. Muslims are not communicating enough. Christians are not communicating enough with their God because we are not trusting God. Children are not communicating enough with their father. They are not communicating effectively with their father. Wives are not communicating enough with, no, they are not communicating effectively with their husband or to their husband. Children, today I was listening to a scholar recently. He said most parents will always shut down their children when they are speaking. And when you shut down the children from speaking, it's going to build something else later. Maybe that particular child is nursing, is nursing one sickness. You don't allow him or her to speak, then that thing is going to kill him or her later. If we don't allow the student to speak, what kind of student are we building? Are we building kind of student that we are going to be passive in the society? That is why majority of students today cannot defend their certificate when they graduated from school, because they were not allowed to communicate effectively with their lecturers, or the atmosphere, that they graduated from is a tense atmosphere where they don't have freedom to speak effectively, to speak their mind. Likewise, management is not communicating effectively with the lecturers. Management is dominating the lecturers. The lecturer also saying we are selfish, we are self-centered. So, just like I said, so we are not communicating enough. And when we are not communicating enough, what happens? It brings crisis. Effective communication leads to, ineffective communication leads to serious crisis. It leads to pandemonium. Because when we don't have trust, when we don't create an environment that that we can trust, it leads to crisis. For instance, we can see, we are familiar with the picture we are seeing here. George Floyd was murdered in the broad daylight by a police in America, and this has generated serious protest demonstration. And today, America is thinking of reforming the police. What happens in Nigeria? What happens in Nigeria? It happens almost every day, day in, day out. I've read in the news on stuff. I don't even like reading Nigerian news because we only see police massacre, police killing, police brutality. This is as a sort of ineffective communication. Look at this. In Hong Kong today, they are fighting. Hong Kong, there's a lot of protest against China. China is trying to seize the freedom, the liberty of Hong Kong. Can you just imagine? All these are product of ineffective communication. All these are product of ineffective communication. Now we are talking about ineffective communication. Then what are we going to do? What are we going to do to have an effective communication? So furthermore, apart from this, we have more severe consequences of ineffective communication. And the big one there is that it's going to lead to trust issues. When we don't have, the institution, when the stakeholders lack trust in the institution, it brings about what? Reputational dysfunctionality. Today we have exodus of students, seeking admission elsewhere in abroad. In the course of this is my seventh year here. Majority of students, I've met a lot of students who said they migrated abroad because of a particular issue that we are talking about today. Bullying, it happens, and etc. like that. Today you can see parents, students losing confidence in the institution due to lack of good communication, due to ineffective communication. Staff demotivation. When you are a boss in the office and you are bullying your own staff, you are not listening effectively to your staff. You are not speaking effectively with your staff. You are not creating an environment where your staff can be free, can communicate with you effectively, can interact with you effectively. What happens? staff will be demotivated. And once the staff is demotivated, he or she is no more, productive. And when he's no more productive, he's thinking of how to assist. He's thinking of how to look for another job. Forget whether the environment is good or not. There will always be something for you to do outside there. Is that right? Then donors apathy. Of course, when you are not communicating effectively to your donor, those who give you funds to conduct research, you are not reporting, you are not making your report, you are not telling that this is the stage you have reached in our research. When you are given research grant, you are not completing it within short period or within the targeted time, then you are not communicating to those who fund you, then there will be a problem. Today, government versus ASU. Of course, the crisis continues. We are all familiar with this. This is as a result of ineffective communication. It's a result of ineffective communication among other factors. Yeah. So, building trust with communication, interpersonal communication skills. Sorry. So, how can we build trust with communication? Through interpersonal communication. By enhancing our interpersonal communication skills. Talking about this, Stephen Covey, Covey 2016 once said, most people do not listen with the intent to understand, but they communicate with the intent to reply. Can you see? We are not actually listening. We just speak, like I said initially. Most people, they speak not because they want to listen, but because they want to be heard. And when that happens, what is going to happen? What that happen? What we will not be able to build the trust we are looking for. Excuse me, please. Sorry. According to Steve Covey, we have 7 habits of highly effective people. And of course, we have these 7. I'm not going to discuss the 7. However, I want to discuss number 5, which is seek first to understand, then be understood. You see, seek first to understand, and then to be understood. You see, I was in one of my classes. I was talking to the student. I asked them, why do God give us, 2 ears and 1 nose? And 1 mouth. 2 ears and 1 mouth. Some of them were pointing out, why are you asking such a question? Of course, we have, 2 ears and 1 mouth, of course. And of course, the reply which some of them gave to me, which was very obvious, is that, we are given 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more and talk less. But we just realized that majority of us today, we actually do what? We talk more and we listen less. When our students are around, when we are talking to our bosses, our subordinates, when we are talking to the parents of the students, when we are talking to those who come around to seek admission, what happens? Do we allow them to speak? Do we listen to them? Perhaps we are not. And this cuts across a lot of places. And this is why, in most developed countries of the world, or in some advanced developing country. That is why they are growing, because they have constituted the habit of listening effectively. You go to your professor, you go to your, to your supervisors, they they listen to you effectively, and you begin to say, what happened? But in our own client, we realize that we are not actually listening enough. And when we are not listening enough, like I said, it's going to create crisis, because an average person wants to be listened to. An average person wants to be listened to. If you are not listening to your wife, for instance, there'll be crisis. Because one thing is this, most men do believe that we are right. We do believe that we are right, and that's why we dominate our wives. We are not listening to them effectively. We are not listening to our children. Most of us, we do not listen. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. That is why we not even allow our students to do what? To learn, or to say, oh, sir, I have a complaint. I want to complain about this. Well, hey, what is your problem? We have actually turned ourselves to thank God. I'm sorry to say this. I did my master in one of the universities. I did my master. When I was doing my project, the first project I was doing, I was nearly frustrated. Then I was in the banking sector. Not until I changed my supervisor that I was able to scale through. As a banker then, I never had time, of course, but communicating with my main supervisor then, it was a serious frustration. He never listened to me. Likewise, we do a lot of that, even with our students. It is quite unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate that we are doing that. I hope things are actually changing. However, I know a lot of people have changed. Of course, people are more exposed. We read more. We've gone out. We have seen a lot of things. However, we still have some sects doing this sort of thing in the institution. And of course, if we are not listening effectively, if we are listening because we want to reply, or want us to be understood, there will be a crisis. That will continue to be crisis. So it is important that we listen effectively. It's important that we communicate effectively. The interpersonal communication between us, between we, the students, between we, the lecturers, the students, our subordinates, those that are not up to us, is very important. Effective, interpersonal communication. Because through interpersonal, if we are able to communicate effectively, if we are able to listen to others, if we allow them to communicate with us effectively, then we'll be able to build that relationship. And when we're able to build the relationship, it will lead to trust. And when trust is there, life continues. Life holds meaning. Okay. Then building trust with communication, emotional intelligence perspective. If you're talking about emotional intelligence, what does that imply? What does emotional intelligence imply? This is an old concept. Daniel Goleman, 1996, popularized emotional intelligence. But this has even come before him. And a lot of researches have been done in respect of emotional intelligence. And evidence in literature, practical evidence actually shows that, you need 20% of IQ to succeed in life and 80% of EQ to succeed, 80% of EQ. So we have so many, guys, we high intelligence, we high IQ that they couldn't succeed in building their career because they lack emotional intelligence. They lack emotional quotient. So, and bringing emotional intelligence perspective to communication. How do we use that? How do we use that to build trust? If you're talking of emotional intelligence, we have basic 4 quadrants. We have, self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. And I'm just going to discuss just maybe 1 or 2 of these. Social awareness, we tallies with the one I've just discussed initially about interpersonal communication by coffee. So talking about this, we should understand our emotion. We should understand our emotion. because our emotion determines almost everything that we do. We have to be we need to be aware of ourselves, and of course, be aware of others. Understanding ourselves is good, but do we understand others? Do we actually understand others? Picking on the mood in the room, caring what others are going through, hearing what other person is really saying, listen with the intention to understand, not with the intention to reply. You see, we have PhD, fine. We have PhD, but one thing is, for that we have PhD, does not actually make us to be, the person we cannot talk to. We should listen, even though we are professors, fine. But let me tell you, one thing I do tell my students is that today, you are a student, who knows what you are going to be tomorrow? So I have to listen to you effectively. As my children, I have to listen to them effectively. I have to anticipate what they are going through. Do we anticipate what the parents of our students are going through? Do we know that some of them are struggling to pay their school fees, the school fees of their children? Do you know that some students are struggling, even in school? Then, if we are not listening to them, we are frustrating them. So, we must care about what others are going through. We must be able to listen to them. We must be able to hear them, what other person is really saying. Picking up the mood in the room. Watch the mood of others. Watch their emotions. Don't allow our own emotion to trample on theirs. We are regarded to be more matured because we are in that position as the boss, for instance. But what we should bear in mind today is this. The concept is changing. Students are being regarded to be customers of the institutions. They are regarded to be the stock in trade. They are regarded to be stock in trade of the institutions today. It's just like bank. The stock in trade of a bank, for instance, is the cash, is the money. If the customer decided to take their money away, the bank is in doom. If the students have decided to, because today the students have choices. They have choices. Let me tell you, when banking was still banking, when banking started in those days, First Bank used to be the oldest bank, used to be the strongest bank, with the largest capital base. And then you see, we treat customers the way we want. But as time goes on, we realize that customers have choices. When new generation banks, when they came, they turned around banking system. Now, First Bank has no choice than to adjust. The likes of Wema Bank and etc. The likes of Union Bank. Today, they are they're almost behind other new generation banks like Senate Bank, like Access Bank, and etc. banks. Because that time, bankers were seen as thank God, and like we are seeing lecturers today as thank God. But the fact is this: things are actually changing. The expectation of society is changing. Things are, there are choices around here. If students are not attending, our own school, they could go to other schools. Today, we have so many private higher institutions that they pamper the students because they are treating them as customers. Customers are king. Fine, we are shadowed with the responsibility of molding the student. Fine. We are not saying over pamper them, but listen to the student, listen to the stakeholders, listen to the parents, and listen to them effectively. Go the extra mile on ensuring that you understand what they intend to say. And that is when we're able to survive. The government is not listening to ASU. Likewise, ASU is not listening. We need to understand ourselves. We need to understand each other, one another. This is called social competence. And social competence is more superior than personal competence. Fine, you need to have self-awareness, for instance. Self-confidence, awareness of your own emotional state, recognizing how you behave, your behavior impact others, paying attention to how others influence your emotional state. But one thing is this, the social competence, the interaction with others is more superior than your own self-awareness. If you are self-aware, if you are aware of yourself and you are not aware of the moods, of the pains of others, then you are in trouble. We are in trouble. If institutions begin to operate like private institutions, if public institutions have started to behave, operate like private sectors, then there will be fire on the mountain. That will be a serious problem. Because as a banker, for instance, customers are always right. When I was in the banking sector, a customer could pick a phone and call my MD directly, could report me as the head of operations, directly to my MD, could send text message directly. If I refuse to listen to him or her, he's ready to take his business away. Then there'll be fire on the mountain. There'll be problem. So if we begin to have this, have this at the back of our mind, that the students we are dealing with today, they are the one paying our salary. For instance, as customers in the bank, customers pay my salary, pay my bill. Without the student, there will be a problem. Today, let's look at what is happening. Today, students are not on campus. Students are not on campus again. If they decided to go to somewhere else, what will be our job? As lecturers, what will be our jobs? If they say, oh, we are not coming back again, we are doing something else. It is because we have the students there that we are saying we are lecturers. Then if we cannot communicate effectively with them and they decide to take their businesses somewhere else, what else? What happens? So self-awareness is important. However, social awareness is more important than others. So we must be able to communicate, intelligently, emotional intelligent communication. Manage your emotion, perceive emotion, understand the emotion, using emotions. We should not allow our own emotion to affect the emotion of others negatively. If you are not happy, if we wake up from the wrong side of the bed, if we have fought with our wives at home, we should not take that to the school. We should treat the students as human beings. We should treat our staff as human beings. Management should treat, staff with respect by communicating with them effectively. Mind you, if the management does not treat, the members of, other cadres with respect, I have the right to go somewhere else. I have the right to go to somewhere else. So if there must be trust, if we have to build trust, then we must learn how to communicate effectively. We must use our emotion. We must recognize the awareness of others. Self-awareness, and we must be aware of the emotion of others. We should regulate ourselves while we're able to, be aware of, the emotion of others. Now, it's not just enough for us to communicate. We build trust, but building trust is not just enough. There's a difference between building trust and earning trust. You don't force people to respect you. You don't force people to trust you. Your behavior will determine whether you are going to earn the trust from them. Whether you are going to earn the trust from them. Naturally, let me tell you, First Bank earns trust from their numerous customers because they have been there for a long time. They are regarded to be very strong. They are regarded to be dependable. They earn trust. Are we going to earn trust with our communication in the higher institution, in the tertiary institution? Then we communicate. Can we do that? Let's see how we can do that. Number one, we must create an environment of trust. We must create an environment of trust. When I suspect you as my lecturer, what happens? When I suspect you as my boss, what happens? When I know I'm not going to be allowed to communicate, to say something that is in my mind, am I going to trust you? When I know that, you as my boss, you not allow me to say my mind, when management will not allow, other members of the institution to say their mind, when they are not, they are not respected, their rights are not respected, then what happens? That is not an environment where trust can thrive. So we must keep communicating. We must communicate constantly. We must communicate constantly. Constant communication You'll be able to say this is what is in our mind. This is what the policy says. Management must keep communicating constantly with the staff. The lecturers must keep communicating constantly with students. The boss must continue communicating constantly with their subordinates. There must be effective relationship between the boss and the subordinate, between employees and the employers, between professors and junior lecturers, between HOD and their staff, between the dean and the members of the faculty. The members of faculty must continue to communicate effectively with the dean. And of course, we should be able to share information timely sharing of information. Because if we don't do that, it's not going to become effective. We must respect the stakeholders' opinion, just like I said now. We must understand people's needs. We must close misunderstanding loop. If the loop is not closed, if the gap is not closed, then there will be fire on the mountain. There will be problem. Just like what is happening in America. Just like what is happening in Hong Kong. Just like what is happening in Afghanistan. Just like what is happening in Palestine. Just like what is happening in Yemen. Just like what is happening around the globe. That is why terrorism is on the high side. Lack of effective communication. That's why the rate of kidnapping is going on. It's soaring almost every day due to lack of effective communication. So we must understand people's needs. We must close misunderstanding loop. We must keep off our ego. We must keep off our ego because ego kills a lot of things. Ego kills a lot of things. We have PhD, I appreciate that. We are professors, I appreciate that. However, we don't have to keep up, our ego. Arrogance leads to something else. Then we must appreciate diversity in thinking. Diversity. We abroad, we are suffering from a lot of diversity, from a lot of racism, and etc. like that. But at home, what happens? We must respect the opinions of others. We must appreciate the diverse thinking. Respect what other people will say or what they have to say is important. What they have to say. So, let there be diversity in opinion. Let the people bring their different thinking. Let them bring their different suggestions and respect all of that. Appreciate all of that. Nobody is an island of anything, irrespective of what you know. Irrespective of what you know. Here, my student will tell me, sir, I want to see you. I want to talk to you. Please, am I free to come? Please, you are free to come. If I tell her you are not free to come, she's ready to report to the authority. Because he or she has direct number of the rector of the VC, or even of the Minister of Education, or even of the Prime Minister. So you have to, appreciate diversity in thinking, whether at the meeting, whether at, offices, anywhere I want to talk about. We must, as a dean of the faculty, as the head of the department, we must not say, I'm the only one that is right. As this lecturer to student, I'm not saying, oh, it's my thinking that is right. Are you actually communicating? Are you appreciating your, supervisee? If or she is doing a project, it is our responsibility to guide him or her. We should not throw the thesis to him because it is assumed that we know more than he does. So we must appreciate diversity in thinking at the board level, at the senate level, at the departmental level, between lecturers and students, and etc. Then we must help others to succeed. Then we must say goodbye to indifference. And of course, we should find a common ground. We should always find common ground. Of course, if you are saying we have to communicate effectively, of course, there will be difference. But when we have differences, then we should always resolve the crisis and find a common ground. Find a common ground, understanding. It's okay, give and take, win-win situation. It's part of effective communication. It's part of effective communication. So, Let's look at applications of what we have treated. Lecturers and student relationship. What should it look like? I've said it. Management and student relationship. How should it look like? Management and staff relationship. How should it look like? If we're able to apply all the concepts that we have discussed now and the one that the president will be discussing, I believe that there will be smooth relationship between students and lecturers. If we're able to communicate effectively with our students, if our students are able to communicate with us, if their parents are able to communicate with us, we will build a formidable set of students that will be able to go to the society and change the society holistically. Because that is our responsibility. That is our responsibility. Our responsibility is to build. Let me tell you, if not for the kind of treatment we receive from school when we're in school, perhaps will not be what we have today. But it seems that is eroding. But we must have to check ourselves and ensure that we interact with our students. We build the kind of students that are not passive, but students that are active, that can challenge what is challenging in the society, that can go to the society with serious force to change the society. But if we cripple their ideology, if we cripple if we cripple them in terms of their ideas, if we cripple them in terms of how they think, if you make them to become set of students who are morons, then that is problem. Are we going to point? Will we be able to prove that, oh, that is my student? So the lecturer and student relationship must be sound, must be good, taking into consideration all the concepts that we have talked about. Then management student relationship, of course, that should be sound as well. And management and staff relationship should also be good, taking into consideration all what I've said now. And when we're able to do all of this, we'll be able to have, we'll be able to build strong synergy. We'll be able to have strong synergy. We'll be able to build a society that is formidable. We'll be able to build a society that will be able to strive in prosperity, for prosperity. We'll be able to build a solid country, a solid nation, a solid world. We'll be able to build a solid world. Mind you, we have, we are connected to the entire world as an institution. Our graduates, I know many of our graduates, those whom we graduated together, many are in UK, many are in US, many are in Malaysia, many are in other countries of the world, because the foundation was there. And of course, using this opportunity to appreciate all people, all lecturers who contributed to our success. And that should continue. We should listen effectively. We should communicate effectively. And when we do that, we'll be able to build a stronger society, a stronger world, where there will be synergy. And my last words, the world will be at peace if everybody can communicate effectively. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. I appreciate the opportunity given to me to speak for a while. So thank you so much again. And if you have any question and answer, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Badibo. That was a great one. Okay, so
Let's stop full screen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gbadebo. That was very impactful. And I can see comments are already coming. We are very grateful for that very impactful session. We also want to thank you for keeping to time. In fact, I was just saying that you are so timely. Exactly 1:25, you are off. Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure everyone on the platform have one or two things to say. Some of us are already putting it through from the chat room, and maybe after this session, during the question and answer session, some of us will have the privilege to say one or two things, and also to appreciate you for this beautiful session. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Gbadebo Salman. God bless you. Yes, sir. So we have, before the question and answer session, which will be coordinated by Mr. Sonny Ogodi, I want to quickly welcome our second speaker, the second presenter, who is our own president, the Alumni National President, Mr. Ayo Adeyemi. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome with me the second facilitator for this wonderful training session. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Atinuke. That was a great one, Dr. Maru. That was loaded. I want to say good morning to everyone, especially our guys at the top. I want to sincerely appreciate your joining this session. It is one thing to put a training together. It is another thing to have people to attend. And if there's anything we know, we have learned, and we know that kept us going, it is continuous absorption of relevant information, and then the utilization of such information. You know, the saying for us in a learning environment is learn, unlearn, and relearn. So this morning, I want to say thank you to the faculty for putting this together. And I want to sincerely appreciate our rector for also showing some level of commitment and interest in this. And that has also, you know, made some of our guys, the wonderful people. I could see a lot of people, and I must say that I'm glad and I'm impressed that we can have this. We can rub minds together, and then we can get the school better position. And we can also use this opportunity to also kind of give back to the school community, and also appreciate some of our, you know, lecturers of old. Yes, I'm to give a lecture, but I have told the faculty that, look, mine is storytelling, and I won't be sharing any slide. I'm not going to talk straight to us. And I think if there's anything I know, I think I've been part of the Federal Poly of system since 1995. And upon to the time I graduated, coincidentally, I was saddled with the responsibility to also lead the breaking out process of the alumni. Okay, so I can say to you that I have interfaced with many people at different levels, be it the lecturers, be it the non-academic staff, be it academic staff. So I'll be speaking from that standpoint. And I want to say this, I will try to be very gentle and subtle with it, but I want to say the truth. And sometimes, when we know the truth, like they say, the truth sets us free. I said sometimes, because none of the time that we know the truth, it sets us free. Sometimes when we know the truth, you know what it does for us? It gets us bound. It gets us into bondage. then we build a lot of animosity even against the person saying the truth, and then we see ourselves as more emperor. Okay, and the reason why I've decided not to share slides and not to also go the direction of talking about communication in terms of what Dr. Fedpoffa has shared was I'm going to speak, in terms of the past experience, the current experience, and where we should be in the future as stakeholder in the build-up of our own alma mater. And that's the essence why we are doing all of this. All right? When I was in Fedpoffa, right from my MD up until the last day I spent as a student, all that I feel is that fight for yourself. Nobody cares. In fact, I see more of a transactional environment than an environment where you have people that are also interested in your future. And I will say some few things as how that impact on communication. And I must also say this, even from what Dr. Fedpoffa has said, all right, that if a student chose not to come back to Fedpoffa, did they have a choice? Interestingly, as at yesterday, I'm aware that some people are still bidding to establish another higher institution. All right, it's a federal government institution, quite all right, but people also have a choice. Okay, and how do we communicate? One thing we must know about communication, which I will emphasize. All right, I know we did GNS 102 or we did all of that, and like Dr. Fedpoffa said, kudos to all our communication teachers. All right, I think I was going through my library and I saw some of these books and I was laughing. All right, interestingly, we did a whole lot of communication, academic one, but the world has become global. Things are changing at the speed of light, and we can't say that. All right, we want to be where we are and doesn't want to change with times. Things are changing, and in fact, it has changed. The pandemic has even exposed a lot of more limitations, a lot of more challenges, and honestly speaking, if we really have to put ourselves on scale as individuals, we need to understand how well we are doing. But the one thing I want to quickly mention here is that what is the relevance of communication to everything we do in life as human beings, as professional, as expert, as molder, as builder, as management, as administrative. How far, if you have to take survey, and I'm sincerely saying this, maybe alumni will champion this. If you have to take survey of what is the impact of knowledge and interpersonal relationship or communication that people experience as a student or as contractor, or whatever category with the people that operate the system in Fedpoffa, I think you'll be shocked as to what's going to be the feedback. But who are the people that can really say this? I think it's some of us. We have gone through your tutelage. We have built ourselves with some of the foundations that were laid, and God has helped us thus far. But we believe much more can be done. And that's why we are partnering with you, because this is first of its kind. All right? I'm partnering with you to do this as a form of a feedback and also let you know that you are doing well, but you can do much, much, much more better. All right? It's not about condemnation. It's about, like I said, the truth. When you encounter, we have stakeholders, okay? I will start from we are categorized into 3 categories, okay, maybe 4, based on what Dr. Fedpoffa said. We have the student on one side, we have the academic staff, we have the non-academic staff, and we have the community as a whole. All right? All of these are stakeholders. And if you like it now, we have the alumni, all right, which has come to the, to the grouping now. But I'm going to talk about the students, the non-academic and the academic staffs. Because we have interface with these students every day. And one thing you must know that information or communication does is either build or destroy. Especially when we talk about the word we speak. I want you to know today that you are general overseer over the affair of every student that come in contact with you. So the words you speak matters. I have had people saying to me, Fedpoffa, you will never be well with you. I have had people saying to me that I'm going to destroy you. I can mention name. I think I'm the alumni president, and I think I can have that liberty to mention it, but I won't. And that's why we have decided to do this. You'll be surprised and shocked that when we were talking about this, it is some of our students, alumnus, that not only in Nigeria said that the best we can do right now is to talk to our teachers, our lecturers about communication. And that will have been because everybody has a different encounter. When a lecturer tells a student, I will destroy you, that goes a long way and it goes into years ahead. Yes, we can have maybe what you call a useful exuberance, you can have the challenge of the student. But we must only see ourselves as a vintage position as fathers, as mothers, as destiny molders. You know, sometimes we need this at the doorstep of the spiritual people, the people we call pastor and imam, hoping that they are the only people that have spiritual authority. Every student, everyone that comes into under your authority or your care, you have a level of superior and spiritual authority over them. The word you speak matters. Okay, how does it come to knowledge? Because what you pass across is knowledge. Some of us learned that struggling to even understand what was taught. You know why? Because of communication problems. So we see our organs more as terrorists, people that doesn't even want to understand the language of the student. All they want to do is that you must respect me. And like Dr. said, the respect and the trust we need can always be earned. And I must say this to you also, there are lecturers that have done so much in lives of some of these students that anywhere in the world, okay, and I will share an example. One of our lecturers, we were talking, I said it was going to be in UK, and I said, don't worry, ahead of you, I'll talk to 1 or 2, 3 people, and he came back saying, wow. Now, much as this can be accorded to almost everybody, but it's not being on the same level, that you must understand. And what will make the difference? It's difficulty of how you relate with them. I just want to emphasize this. All right? Communication can give direction. Communication can be about destruction. Communication can bring about impactation. Communication is about molding a life. Communication is about building and developing people or others. All right? Communication can also be about creating crisis. A lot of us are familiar with me. What actually affected me or caused me was a breakdown in communication. All right? But that's not the topic of the day. Now I'm emphasizing this because why? We are doing well, but we can do much better. Because the word and those information we give in the classroom, beyond the classroom, make a lot of difference in our life. You know, when we come on campus as students, the honest truth is that 99% do not have directions. 99% were forced to come to school because they need to have an higher degree. 99% came on board because now they finish secondary school and the next is our institution. So when we engage them, we train them, we teach them, it makes a lot of difference. All right? So that is the power of communication. And that is what we do. In fact, that is what we sell as lecturer and as non-lecturer. And I say to you that there are many people that have passed through that system that may likely not forever, not forgive some people. And why? It's just because of word of mouth. Right? I'm not saying the student can be always right, but I'm saying that there are always better ways to handle some of these things. And when we understand that there is verbal and non-verbal communication, then we can always do better and build on that. So I'm challenging and encouraging us this morning. Like I said, mine is storytelling. What has happened, whether I'm from Paul and school, I can't remember how many years now, but I know it's not less than 15 years. Okay, so things have changed, and I know things are changing. But the truth is that we must see every opportunity where we have to impart knowledge, when we have to relate with some of these people, all the stakeholders, even co-worker, colleagues, as an avenue to make a difference, to touch, to impact them. That we must understand as a teacher, that we must understand as administrator. When I step at the gate of Fedpoffa, and I'm my first secretary with the security man, from that point of view, I can begin to have a perception of how Fedpoffa runs. Because the security will tell me, hey, sit up there, what's wrong with you? What? And I say, no. In the first interaction, and that's what we do in corporate world. When I take communication, I tell them, your communication or expression of your communication start from the gate. What does your security man knows about the entire organization? What does Fedpoffa security men know? I agree, some of them are literate, some of them are not literate. But it does not give excuse to the fact that they must understand how the system runs. Should I ask any security man again and say, I'm going to the PRO's office, will you be able to give me an idea? Because why? It's about direction. If you tell me just be going straight, like people in Ibadan will do, forgive me if I'm in Ibadan, go right, then you turn left, then you turn right. Am I not lost already? I'm lost. So that's the power of communication. I don't have to meet with the rector before I understand the ideal of that school, before I understand the values that are promoted on that campus. It's about communication. It's about what we say. It's about what we represent. And that communication starts from there. All right? And we are all stakeholders in this. That is why, for us too, at the level alumni, we preach that we must be a good ambassador. The fact that I left that school almost 20 years ago does not mean that I cannot still destroy that school. If I start carrying gun, and read tomorrow, alumni president is armed robber, they will track it back. You know what they will do? Alumni president who was a former student of Fedpoffa. Now you ask me, how does it correlate? Should be no longer in the school. But that's what they said. That's a brand. They need to destroy a brand. Okay, so when I read in paper that a Fedpoffa of a lecturer was arrested and was chained or prison in Ibadan, I felt so bad. Because why? I'm no longer a star, but I'm a student. I was once a student. It doesn't affect my brand. So communication has a lot to do with the brand. And we communicate not only with our word of mouth, like I said, with everything that we do. What value are we preaching? Now, I will come back to the classroom. If a student, I mean, you know, we always have them in groups and in large number. But the truth is that, I must say to you, sir, you can actually impart all of them at different levels. All right? Some students don't know even know their lecturer. I'm saying, sorry to say this, because why? Somebody always come to give the lecturer notes. There's no engagement, there's no communication. Some students, before you enter any lecturer's office, you will appeal on your body. Because the people that represent themselves as an authority and as a principality. But that's not what it should be. It should be a brother, a father, a builder relationship. That's what we are trying to say. Everything we do communicate, but how we position or place our communication or what we say matters a lot. So I want to appeal to us that for those of us that are doing fantastically well, it is impacting a whole lot of us. A lot of lives are also passed through system of Fedpoffa that are destroyed because they missed the direction and there was nobody to help. And that's the truth. Because by tomorrow, some people will still graduate. And I want to appeal. You can touch them. You can break the status quo and do it abnormally and touch every life. You will imagine that when you graduate about 2,000 students and 10% of 2,000 students can really say that, look, Dr. Ebaloku touched my life. That's a minor number, but how happy will you be when you appear somewhere and somebody saw you and say, no, this man is a good man. Or they hear about your children. I'll share an example for you. I once applied to Nestle, for a position, and I got the job, but I never resumed. People don't understand when I say that. Okay, you got the job, but you can never resume. You know why? The HR held on to my employment letter, even when I saw it, and I couldn't get it. And a year after, they called me, why have you not resumed? I saw they've not given my letter. Somebody said, wow. Now, 7 years after, when I started my consulting firm, a young lady came to our office and came for an interview. And I was going out, and I saw her, and she said she came for an interview. And I said, what's your name? She mentioned her name. And that was the daughter of the HR of Nestle in that year. And I said to my colleague, you know what? Make sure you assist this girl to get that job. Now, the man has not said anything, but what he has said is volume because he held on to my employment letter. And these are several years after. So imagine when your own children come across some of the people you taught, you trained, you have destroyed in life in future. How do you feel they will treat them? And that's why I said, as lecturer, whatever position or office we occupy, we are molders. We have more spiritual authority because we touch their life the more than the people we call our pastor and our imam. So what are we saying and what's my conclusion? Please communicate effectively. Because you communicate not only by the word of your mouth, you communicate by your action. The people you are made to repeat class, do you know what you are doing to them? You are holding them down because you are an emperor. And you feel without you, they can't scale through. You can punish people. There are several ways to punish people. not by destroying their life, because it counts in the future. And no matter how you head on anybody down in federal poly or FAR, either in ND, it can't go more than 5 years. And if you want to take them 10 years, let it be 10 years. But it cannot be forever. And the people who will build life, it also cannot be forever. You have little time to make an impact. And you also have little time to destroy their life. Which one will you rather choose? Can you, by yourself and by the blessing God has given you, create an atmosphere that your students can have access to you and learn more from you? And then in future, do you know what will be? This is like I said, this is what I want to say. For those around that are doing well, please keep on doing. For those around that are doing assess ourselves, you make that to assess yourself. But we can build a Fedpoffa that can be proud of all. That even when we graduate them in droves, we will be proud that mention any country in the world. Mention any country in the world, we have to be proud of them. All right, so I'm sorry if my words seem to be harsh, but I think I'm just saying the way I've perceived it, I've observed it, and I feel I should deliver it. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, sir. The president, that was the touchy one. We appreciate your openness on this subject matter. I want to appreciate you again for coming on board. I also want to appreciate Dr. Maruf Salman for doing justice to this topic. I'm sure we have many questions. We have many. I've seen my doctor smiling, Dr. Beloku. I know he has one or two things to add to this. So before we allow, before we hear some other intelligence, before we receive our contributions on this training today, I will want us to go quickly to the session of question and answer. So after that, then we can now give room for more contributions from our experts, communication experts in the house, and then we close for the session. Before that, let me quickly recognize the presence of the SANIP Secretary, Comrade Onyolola. I also want to welcome the presence of, appreciate or recognize the presence of the Deputy Registrar, Alumni and Endowment Unit, Chief Olajipo. You are very much welcome. Thank you very much, sir. So question and answer session right away. I want to hand over to Mr. Sonny Ogbodi to take us through this session. Mr. Ogbodi, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, sirs. I must confess this session has been extremely impactful, particularly when it's coming from two experts, a lecturer and a consultant. I don't think we can have it better than this. That's the fact. When the lecturer speaks, you know the point of view he's speaking from, research and all that. And when the consultant speaks, you know the point of view. They have clearly shown that they are experts, particularly in this subject matter. However, thank you very much, our able president, and thank you very much, Dr. Gbadebo. Please, you are free to ask your questions. They are set to answer your questions. In addition, you can send in your questions if you are not. I hope everybody has been unmuted to ask questions. Ebu Kochi. I want to believe everybody has been unmuted to ask questions.
I think let people signify. We can move them so that we won't have a noise background and what have you. I don't know if it's okay for you.
Okay.
So you can call names as students. Call names with students.
Okay. Okay.
The PRO is signifying. I hope the moderator can see him.
I'm trying to. Okay, yes, yes, I can see the PRO.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead with your question, PRO.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Alain Kare, once again, Director of Information Protocol and Communication. Now, how important effective communication is can be seen in the amount of industrial arrest that is evidence in the world today. You see, management in some organizations seem very incapable of communicating successfully with the workforce. But let me say this: I hear the federal we not just give information, but we communicate on that. And
Your network, sir.
Exactly.
Integration and protocol unit of the information to communicate not only on WhatsApp, on Facebook, it's always very effective. But it's going to be that any of the social communication went. Hello?
Hello. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I think your network is a bit not stable.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. You're on now. Mr. Roy, you can.
So what I'm saying is that what is the place of language? What the language in communication as related to management of human resources and student life? We have better technical fund. I'm expecting the response from Professor Salman. Dr. Salman, please. Okay.
Can you type your, I didn't know, please, I didn't hear you properly. I don't seem to get.
Dr. Salman, what's the place of language in communication as is related to organizations like the Federal Polytechnic of Art? I want to say this, that in the industries and some other organizations, the languages used are usually quite different from what we have in academic. So, and I said, like in Federal Polytechnic of Art, we did not just give information, but we communicate effectively and understandably to staff. What's the place of language in communication in an organization like Federal Polytechnic of Art? And thank God you are in an institution.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, Mr. Iroye, you know, you are more experienced than me. You know, I've known you as far back as when I was in school. So I know you have the answer to the question you're asking me, but however, I will just try. The language of the place of language in a place like like Federal Polytechnic offer. And of course, today I'm equally, I've had the opportunity to work in some banks, and of course, in higher institutions like this as well. You see, please just tell me if I'm right. If you're talking about language,
yes,
the kind of language that is usable in higher institutions, especially, let me tell you, where I am today, where I'm working presently, I work in a public university here. The language of respect, the language of trust between management and the student, between subordinate and employee, between supervisor and supervisee. That is a kind of environment where I'm presently working, where trust, tribes, where you can trust your subordinate. Though we have some bad eggs a bit somehow, but the language, official language, and also interpersonal, interpersonal interaction between the management and the staff. So the language has always been, you should use correct, appropriate language that people will be able to understand, and through that, they'll be able to know that you are listening to them, you are, listening to them effectively, you are trying to, as much as possible to implement policies that will allow them to achieve their personal goal and that of the goals of the organization through effective communication, either owning meeting effect, either owning informal meeting or informal meeting and etc. like that. So I don't know whether I've actually addressed your question, but I know you are more knowledgeable than me in this regard. You have been in the institution for a long period of time, and of course you should have better answer to what. If I don't answer you appropriately, just keep me some information regarding this.
Thank you. I just let me add internal experience, the experience of language used in your area, where you are presently in. What's the place where you are presently?
Malaysia.
Yeah, Malaysia.
Yes.
The language used, right? In communicating, right?
In communicating, yes. I know in that place, English language is not the mode of communication.
Oh, you are talking about the language being used here. The language used here. Oh, it's okay. Thank you so much. You see, Malaysia, excuse me, sir. Malaysia is, the English language is not the official language in Malaysia.
Exactly.
They use their own local language. They call it Bahasa. Bahasa is the official language here. However, they speak English. We teach in English. I teach in English because I'm a foreigner, right? And even the locals, they teach English as well. So they have choice of using their language. However, you realize that majority of students even prefer to come to foreigners class like we, because they know that we are going to communicate in English, we are going to teach in English. So I don't know, have I answered your question?
Sure.
Yes, you have done that.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
We have Dr. Okay.
We have Dr. Beloko.
Okay.
Also have Dr. Mohammed raising his hands, I think. Dr. Mohammed.
Okay.
Dr. Beloko, you are on.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies in the house. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, sir.
Hello?
Everyone can hear you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies in the house. I'm happy today because I believe what we are trying to do today is to put what we are teaching in the class and what is happening in the outside environment into consideration. And we can see that we are thanking God that what we are producing in that school, we can be boasting of them anytime, any day. And I will not disagree this afternoon that we can give a great kudos to our doctor, and that is our Dr. Gbadebo Saman and our alumni president. And I pray that Almighty God will continue to be with all of you.
Amen.
And I believe that this kind of training should be a consistent training even after this pandemic, because I believe personally we are going to gain a lot. And I will not deceive you, this sort of communication is very, very essential in any organization. And one thing I want us to know, both academic and non-academic staff, we suppose that we are in what we refer to as a competitive market. And if you can refer to what our alumni president has just said, we have a lot of competitors, but our behavior, our attitude, and our interpersonal communication with our students will bring a lot of students to our environment. And one thing is that whatever we are trying to do too, we must be able to remember that our children will pass through all these people one day or the other. And that is why I really appreciate this type of training. And I pray that this training will continue so that we can benefit in more than these things. And not only that, I will like it even after the pandemic, if we can organize physical training so that from file and rank of staff in the school will be able to benefit. And thank you all for this brief beautiful presentation. And I wish you more success in life. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. That was a very good.
Dr. Mohammed.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, please, without missing word, without speaking much, because I know our time is fast spent. I just want to comment on the fact that when you talk of trust, it is a social capital. It is a social capital that you hand over time. And if you don't have that social capital, automatically it is likely it is going to impact either positively or negatively on the organization. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we see you, sir.
So, and then furthermore, when we talk of this communication, we have many stakeholders are rightly observed. Most of our discussion has been on the lecturer student and management student. We have other stakeholders. What the things we have to put in mind is that what are those things that we put in place for us to be able to enhance the trustworthiness of the institution with the outside world. When we want to interact, what is the level of transparency in the operations of the organization, of the polytechnic? What is the kind of alternative ways of redress that students will have, that staff will have? I can have issue with my immediate senior, immediate boss. What are those things that are put in place? And to what extent are those things faithfully followed? Dr. Zaman was saying that the other is there. I also finished from that institution. If there is an interaction between you and the student, there are certain things that they put in place that determines what are those things that are put in place between you and the student. Then, in every organization, there's a need for what we call a standard operating procedure. Do we have all these things? We have someone will just come and then brush aside. The moment you are able to brush aside a standard operating procedure, automatically you are indirectly communicating to people that they should not have trust in that organization. The relationship between the ASU and the management. If ASU believes that everything, if the government says we are going to do this, they are ready, we will do it. There will be even on without even making any commitment. There are certain things that I will have to take. There are certain decisions that will be taken. The same thing with students. They have alternative ways of venting their grievances. Those people that are outside people there, the banks, the society, what is the nature of the communication that is taking place between us and the what they call it, the society. In some institutions, we have attendance monitoring system. Are we actually following this? How are the students confident that when they come, they are going to get attention of an average staff or average lecturer? So these are some of the things that we have to bear in mind when we are talking in terms of the trust. Trust is something that is earned. You cannot just you earn it over a period of time. When you have earned it over a period of time, if people now believe that whatever you say is the truth, and you can use trust for you to be able to get as many things as possible within a system. We should also bear in mind that the tertiary institutions were
Dr. Mohammed. Hello, sir. I think it's. So, Sonny, you can go ahead. I think when he comes back, you finish.
Okay, I think I saw
Joel
Abdulmadi's
I think the engineer Kola Lamidi want to speak. Allow him to speak.
Yeah.
Engineer Kola Lamidi, you can go ahead.
I think Mr. Mohammed is still saying something. It's still on.
His network is at this room.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Kola Lamidi. First, I want to start from the lecturers in the house. We want to thank you very much for making our time for this, because without you, we cannot be where we are today. No matter how much differences we have in the past, it still makes sense to reason that one way or the other, with the name called lecturer, you have made all of us today. So first, I want to congratulate you that you have your offspring today speaking to you. Second is also the organizer of this, which is your team. You are doing a fantastic work, and we also appreciate you. Debo, well done, guy. I can call you a guy because you are my boy. Mr. Roy mentioned a question which got across, and that's what Mr. Mohammed is also trying to give a lot of elaboration on it. I only want to make a small comment on it because the question was very clear. The language of speaking does not also limit to our natural dialect. If in the Western world, there are a lot of big differences from Nigeria, and most of us that have experienced it also know. Fine, it is true that we have this language, but if you also look at overseas, there are a lot of governance structure which was very clearly is able to define what is the role of X, Y, Z, and these are critically followed. I'm sure that's the trend Mr. Mohammed was trying to explain. Because when you have a governance structure, you know the rights and privileges of a lecturer, a student, what is the limit of the non-academic staff and academic staff, and this also help to determine which area and which form of communication exists between each and every one of them. When you talk about communication and trust, there are two things. Yes, we can communicate. It can be effective, but you know, as I always tell my team, first I give you the bucket of trust. So the major thing is for you is either to deflate this trust or to increase the trust. That depends on the person. This works apparently in a standard organization very well, but at the same time, it is incomparable to what works in the polytechnic like ours. It's not only like OFA or Yabatek or something. Polytechnic is a diverse community, and which has a multicultural society. And when you look at academic environment in Nigeria, there is governance structure which only is written in paper. And this paper that I know is only in, I can't remember what name is, I've left school for a very long time, where the edict the act, the Polytechnic Act, that the enabling act for the school. Leave that as it means every other thing is subjected to the rector. It's like a, so that's where the trust starts. During our days in school, and I also get to know this, even when I was an activist, and I know a lot of things about this. If you look at ASU and or ASUP or non-academic staff and the management, the only eye the management look at them is that, look, guys, you are always or student, you always a troublemaker. Yeah, that's true, because we have not also sit down as a corporate a citizen or student or ASU, not only to be asking for the right, but also to be making position paper that can make the school grow. There are several things we can do to hand the trust, and trust majorly needs to be hand. And you know, when it's only about, you have not paid our salary, or you didn't give us time to read for exam, or handout is expensive. And yes, most often than not, this is something like we are beneficial about. But at the same time, it is not correct that we cannot also make an adequate contribution to hand further trust and change it. And with this, even in future, if we communicate the position paper within every rank and file, we can still be very, very useful in terms of even going beyond the school. And this goes to all of the, whether we are a student or we are not. And guys, we also need to be aware that during our days in school, the what of academic, I'm now not talking about academic itself, because the quality of education is still there, but the quality of people entering the polytechnic is a very growing concern. And if the quality, the level of immaturity, I mean, during nowadays, there are experts, there are things like that. Even if you are arguing with rector, you will still say yes, ma. Yes, ma, but it's not correct what you are saying. You still put yes, ma. But a student can look at his lecturer these days and said, get out, my father has a limousine or something, or, you know. And when you look at these students you are teaching, during our days, we have to write everything in paper, but they are always on their phones. You know, at the end of the day, we can talk about it on and on, but these lecturers are also human beings. They have a role and responsibility to make them a better person in future. But are these students prepared by their parents or by the society to be responsible the way we think? I was once told that I cannot be an engineer because I was reading physics and electronics by a lecturer. And, you know, and it's somebody I like so much. And I said, yes, you are right, because I know that with this, I cannot register with Korean as HND. But can you please also let me be aware if there are other routes that will make, because my ambition in life is to become an engineer. And, you know, I didn't see it from negative, but I also wanted to hear his view, what is his experience. And today I can tell you, I didn't even bother to register as engineer, but eventually I became a registered engineer, a chartered engineer in UK, Ireland, and all these foreign countries. That the day I just sent my document, everybody registered me in Nigeria, despite I did physics and electronics. So, you know, it's also about individual. The trust and effective communication are there, but I'm a bit worried, to be honest, and I'm being honest with myself, the quality of people that are entering, the maturity of the team students that are entering the school now, and their own clarity of purpose. And, you know, and if you look at the lecturers we have, they have to do more, because I don't know, and that's why sometimes when you see our lecturer, during our time, our lecturer, their students are in the same polytechnic with us. But now you will not find their students in our school again. They are somewhere else. So I just throw this back, especially because I know that there are some senior deputy registrars and things like that in the call. we also have to, it's not like we get 2 million students that matters, because when we started, the total students in the school during our year, during first year, were less than 200. We were even 19 in my ND days. In my HND, we were just 3 in HND class. So, but if you look at the trend of people that left those years, there is no one that is, whether you're an entrepreneur, consultant, or you still work and take salary, they are not people you can use hand to rubbish anywhere in their lifestyle. It's the same thing coming back. You guys need to help us. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Well spoken, Mr. Adekola Lamidi.
Sorry, Sonny, let me just say, sorry, please, just 1 second. Okay. Just for, I can't but to do this, I need to give a credence, him. That's Engineer Kola Lamidi, is the first student union president of Fedpoffa, and he's also one of the shining lights of Fedpoffa. He's currently a director in Mamco, Friesland. When I met with him, he shared his experience with me. Taking HND right up to that level. And one of the things why I want to say this, please permit me, is that I know the committee is working on something that also will come to limelight very soon. He shared with me how we have also not placed our HND alumnus and the likes, in the spotlight, and we are working on that. He said to me that when he was promoted to a director, he told them and insisted that Fedpoffa must reflect in whatever publication they want to do. He said they took him on. That you have more than degrees. Why Polytechnic? He said he insists. If you don't put Fedpoffa Polytechnic, then don't promote me. That is one of the ambassadors that must be celebrated. I'm saying this not because he's here, but it's one of the shining lights, and we are proud to have you as one of our alumni. I want to also say this as a feedback to our lecturers. We create platforms where we can have some of products like this to also interact, like Dr. Fedpoffa said. It's a town and gown thing. There was no, as at that time, he was told he can't become a member of current. But today, he has break that jinx. We can encourage people by some of this inspiration. And I just will leave it at that. But we are working on something, and then we'll get you updated. Sonny, you can go ahead, please.
All right, thank you, Honorable President. At this point in time, I think our time is fast spent on question and answer. However, if you have questions or comments, you can directly to the chat and we'll take it up. So
let's take just two people, please, apologies. Let's take Joel. Joel is our PRO, so that he won't tell me that we are not allowed to communicate. Communication guy, please, I beg you. So that we can, in 2 minutes, we can wrap up. Joel, go ahead and Ibrahim, just 1 minute, please. Sorry, please.
Thank you, the moderator. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by appreciating the input that has gone into the presentations we have had from Dr. Salmon and the National President of the Alumni Association. Let me quickly say this. You see, at times, we tend to be national in our approaches and processes, and we expect to be international in our output. This can never be. If you are talking about the greatest asset of an organization, that is the human resources. And I want to believe that if we get this right and correctly, every other thing will fall in line for our tertiary institution, and in this case, particularly for Federal Polytechnic offer. Let us go back for whatever reason. This is not to cast aspersion on whatever interest an individual or a group of people have in the recruitment process. If our recruitment process of lecturers in tertiary institution is not good enough, definitely that set of lecturers cannot represent the true meaning of what it takes to be a teacher in tertiary institution, particularly in this case, institution that primarily focus on technology. And based on this, we are talking about communication. It is good you communicate your intentions. But we have had a lot of lecturers in the Polytechnic years back, the case of Dr. Mrs. Ola Ushikan, now Dr. Ola Rubi. You see, they made us understand the rudiments of communication, and it told us that there must be mutual intelligibility before effective communication can be said to take place. And the feedback is another factor. If you are communicating effectively, for psychological, sociological, cultural, and economic reason becomes noise in your communication, definitely you cannot get the desired feedback. And if the desired feedback is not in tandem with the expectation of the communicator, definitely the aim of the communication is defeated. And another thing I also want us to look into for the concerned representatives of the institution is the curriculum review to reflect the true meaning of Polytechnic, so that we can say Federal Polytechnic offer truly is the best and is the fastest. God bless Nigeria, bless Polytechnic and Alumni Association. Thank you for having me.
Many thanks, Joel. That was a good one. Please, can you permit me to allow Ibrahim to have a minute to make his contribution?
Thank you very much, the coordinator. I know you are seeing Ibrahim on the screen, but unfortunately, I had to quickly log on to Zoom using my son's Zoom. So this is Kazim Olashupo. Thank you so much. I really thank all our contributors today. Dr. Salman, I remember when we spoke earlier before the program, he has had about 5 hours lectures and he has to come on this program again. Thank you so much, all the contributors. But there's an area I want to quickly bring our attention to. I know generally in Nigeria, we do a lot of academic exercise. People are very, very good theoretically, but practically, things that we discuss, things we put into theoretical perspective, there is always difficulty in putting them into practice. And it is not only limited to our Polytechnic, it is an embedded culture within our society. But one thing we need to look at, the communication can never be effective without the trust, among the stakeholders. So now we need to look at how are we actually mapping the engagement of the stakeholders. And in an academic institution, the major stakeholder look, the language in the corporate world is a different language in an academic institution, because this is a place where people come together and people now try to exercise what they are learning. So my contribution is this. The major stakeholder in an academic institution is the student, anywhere in the world. And I'm sure most of our lecturers who are sitting here today, a majority of them have also studied abroad. The satisfaction of the student, that is what makes the image of the institution. If students are not satisfied, it's like customers, like Dr. Salman said earlier. If your customers are not satisfied, what are we doing? But how do we measure that? That is what is not structurally standardized in Nigeria and in most academic institutions in Nigeria. What is the feedback mechanism? How are we getting feedback from the student? How are the lecturers measuring their home blind spots? So all these things need to be institutionalized in our academic institutions, even if the society is not doing it. Engineer Kola Lamidi mentioned something that the majority of students that are going into academic institutions, it calls for concern. It calls for a very great concern. But once they go into an academic institution, that is where they are meant to be reshaped. Whether they like it or not, if there are structures, if there are standards, they need to conform to the standard in those institutions. So now, what I want to stress is that we should begin to look at how do we get the feedback from our students? How does the students see us? How do they see us as lecturers? So those things need to be put into perspective. Feedback mechanism. And that is what is going to build trust, and that is going to lead to effective communication. So that is just my little contribution to this. This is my first time of participating, and I think I will continue to participate from now on. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kazim Olasupo. Thank you very much for your comments. At this point, in as much as we have gone a little bit far or have taken some session, I would like to also give somebody a chance to speak. Permit me, President, I would like to give Sheung Oliwo a chance to speak.
Okay, thank you all. Good afternoon. My own is just I'm to express in another angle that I want us to look at this. The lecturer has actually done so much on it. Both Dr. Salmon and Ayoade has done so much on this. However, because we're talking about 4 or 5 stakeholders, I think I want to go through with what Kazim has mentioned on the need for feedback mechanism. And I think as an institution right now, because we are an institution that runs within a community, and because of so many issues we have, we need to make sure that our students are rightly guided. And the only way they can be rightly guided is to get the rights. We have the right communication. So I want to know if the school authority will actually try to improve through what is called an avenue to actually communicate with all the stakeholders concerned, the students, the community, if possible, even the alumni, because that's one way we can actually shape the institution. There should be a forum established where there can be sitting that can actually, this can help a lot in shaping a lot of things concerning the school and properly passing down whatever the vision or the idea the leaders of the school has. Then it will equally help the student within the host community, the school within the host community, then even the student within the school. People will be able to know that, oh, they can actually hear us. During our period, we don't have this forum. We don't have an opportunity to speak our mind. The only way is you have to take it, just like what Kola said. I mean, you have to actually forcefully tell management, this is what we want. Management should create that opportunity to hear students out. Then once in a while to bring in some people in the community to tell them these are things we're doing, these are things we're supposed to do. They will be able to share visions. Then the school will actually be very well. Everybody will feel like they'll be part of it. They will feel, I mean, they'll be involved. They'll feel concerned and said, oh, I actually have a stake here. So that's just my submission. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone, every contributor, and to Mr. Godi. Thank you for that very robust question and answer session. I know this session is getting more interesting, and I can see more questions rolling into the chat room. But we are going to close down on this session because of our we have to be time conscious because it's part of the discipline. We have to follow the time. We are already, if you want to urge you to just keep the questions coming, you can put it through into the WhatsApp platform. The questions will be answered. I'm sure the faculty will still leave the WhatsApp platform to still be active for some time, as well in relay on that platform. So once again, I want to thank everyone that has made this session a very impactful. Let me just do a very brief recap of all that we have had. From our management, senior colleagues, and all stakeholders generally, Polytechnic also have a better outcome. Also, that communication starts with our representation. This is one of the things said by the Mr. Ayoade Adeyemi. You must represent well. Start your representation. Start from the gate, actually. Also, communicate effectively, whether verbally or non-verbally. Very important that all communication will be effective. And Dr. Mann also said emotional intelligence must be integrated into our relationship.
Are you there? Your network, I guess.
Maybe it's the network.
Yeah, you can take over this. Let's go on. Our agenda next one. What's next on the agenda, please? Have Sahid, I guess. Our alumni secretary, Sahid Abdullah, I think you are next. You are next.
Good afternoon, all. It's been a great day. It's been one of the most wonderful days. I am proud to be an alumni of this great institution. Thank you, President. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the entire Fedpoffa, I sincerely appreciate the alumni, the faculty, and not forgetting the DOT for this. I want to say a big thank you to our able director, Dr. Olatunji Latif, ably represented by Mr. Iroye. Thank you very much for always being there. I really appreciate that. We really appreciate you guys. It's been a very lovely day. If we give us more time, I think the whole day will still be on, trying to make everybody see why communication is very important. Because with communication, we'll go a long way. And to our guest speaker, Dr. Maruf Badeboss, Saleman, I appreciate you. The last time I knew you was Mr. Now you are Doctor. The next time we'll be meeting, it will be Professor Badebo, inshallah. So I sincerely appreciate and stay safe in this time of COVID so that we'll be together in the nearest future. I would sincerely appreciate the entire alumni, not excluding anybody, basically because this has been a very wonderful one. I appreciate the number of people, the type of people, the set of people that came on board. And to our lecturers, thank you. We can't say more than that. It's just thank you because you have made us who we are today. Like the speaker said, some of us, we've met some of you outside because some of you don't even recognize us, but we do. Maybe because of one thing or the other that you must have communicated to us, either verbally or straight to our face. but we say thank you again because either you have shaped us wrongly or positively. We thank you for whatever you have contributed. And we're also begging that the students are the leaders of tomorrow. We are going to live there and they will take over. Let us install or instill something good in terms of communication. One of the contributors said something about feedback. They also said something about a forum that can be established to have a very one-offer community. Because if you have that, it will go a long way in solving lots of lingering crises that might be coming up so that we don't experience the May 8th again in our lives. So on behalf of the alumni, the faculty, we say thank you, and may Almighty God continue to be with us. Amen. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for that appreciation. So at this junction, I want to call on Mr. Dapo to give us a closing remark.
By the faculty secretary, he went out briefly. The faculty secretary, Ochaju.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sirs and ma'ams. We're so glad to have you all on board. I want to believe without any doubt, we've really gained so much from our speakers. In the essence of effective communication, which is so important in our citadel of learning, I want to sincerely appreciate Dr. Maruf Gbadebo Salmon for that brilliant presentation. That was a good one. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you, my able president, Mr. Yuade Adeyemi. I'm not too surprised because I know you are loaded. Thank you for being a vessel, and thank you for bringing us together too. God bless you all. I want to believe that the impact of today's lecture, we will get to see the results, and the results will be profound among various stakeholders, even in our great citadel of learning. And I want to believe this won't just be a one-off thing, it will be a continuous event. As far as the faculty is concerned, we will be having these events for the students category and the alumni category soon. And I want to believe this circular will go around very soon. God bless you all for making out time, even out of your tight schedule, to be part of us today. We don't want to take that for granted because we know maybe you had to cancel occasions for us to be here. And I want to appreciate all the lecturers in-house, all protocols duly observed. I believe you guys will be proud of us. I'm sure you are proud of the product we've become. I will continue to make you proud. I promise, let me speak on behalf of the faculty now, that trainings of such will continue and due notice will be given so that we'll have enough people on ground. Thank you all. We appreciate you. And please, whatever we've learned today, let us take it to the school environment and make use of it. Let people see the impact of today's training. Let it not just be one-off training that we just attend and it won't have any positive impact in us. God bless you all. We appreciate you, and we pray more of this will come. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, the faculty secretary, everybody on board. We want to appreciate you. We are sorry for taking much of your time. We are 35 minutes. We know, and we are sure that by the next time we are having such training, we will try to. This is the very first time, and it's quite impressive. Thank you for showing up.
Faculty, for everybody, faculty, please. let's have a certificate to be participated. It's very useful. Maybe the e-copy. Anyway, certificate of participation for all of us that participated, please work on it.
Yes, the faculty is informing every participant that we are going to be having certificate of this training. So all participants should just drop their name. If you want it to appear on your certificate, drop it on the platform as you want it to appear on the. Once again, thank you very much, the representative of the Polytechnic management, the PRO, the deputy rectors, the deputy registrars, all the deans and directors, HOD present, our wonderful participants. Thank you for coming. God bless you. And with this, we have come to the end of this training. We hope to see you very soon. Bye. And maybe we should just open it up